Hello, 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 good people, and welcome to Happy, Healthy, Whole with Sharia. I'm Sharia, and this is Wellness Wednesday, and we focus on growing, thriving, and living well as we develop our business and our practice. And so today I'm going to talk about marketing strategies for growing your therapy practice. So, when a lot of us are uncomfortable and or maybe just not quite a person around strategy and planning when it comes to our skills and abilities as therapists or providers, we sometimes forget the importance of having to create a plan that will allow for our audience to really see us, acknowledge us, and really get to know us as their ideal person to go to for the areas in which they are struggling for. But with a few strategies and approaches, marketing can become so much easier than you even think, especially with today's social media. I am a person who don't even really care to be on there often, but doing it strategically and thinking through my process has allowed me to create communities in different areas of my business identity so that I can continue to grow even when I'm somewhat not active or separated from the social media world because I take breaks all the time. So I'm going to give you some strategies really quickly around content marketing, offering workshops or free webinars, and then just really making sure that you're doing the networking you need as a therapist and or someone who is running a private practice or wellness practice in some format. So first, let me talk about content marketing because I think that's where it is the most a powerful thing to establish in terms of your knowledge and your trustworthiness as a therapist. This just involves sharing relevant content that can showcase your area of expertise. So what that looks like for many practices is knowing what your area or your niche is. And I've done a video on that. So if you weren't here with me live on that video, go back and watch it. But think about making sure that you create blog posts, videos, and podcasts that answer common questions for the people who you identify as your ideal client and address some of the trending topics around wellness and mental health. So for example, a blog post on managing the holiday stress or a video about workplace anxiety. When we think about the time and the season that we're in right now, and being that it's getting ready to go into November, into December holiday season, this gives us a deep understanding of what might be starting to resonate with our ideal client when it comes to mental health or wellness. Be authentic with your content. I am a person who will tell you many times that I may get criticism and or feedback that some people are unhappy that I'm not all inclusive with all of my materials. And what I make sure I say to them is that it's not that I'm not inclusive because everyone is welcome. It's that I'm very strategic in making sure the voice of Black women are lifted up and or available to see the reflection in myself or those I serve or those who work with me to service our community. It is not taking away the need of everyone or who can benefit from my content, but it's acknowledging that my ideal client looks like something, works in a certain way, and has the right to be seen, heard, and viewed as a priority. Because when we look at other content across the board, the majority of that content will not be reflective of diversity and inclusion, but yet I'm expected to do so because I'm going the other direction where my materials are or contents are mostly focused on women of color. But be authentic is my point because you are a unique voice that allows your audience and your ideal client to see that uniqueness in themselves as worthy of being seen. And so I really want your content to be reflective of you. And consistency is key. Aim to post as much as possible and as regularly as possible, regardless of what that consistency looks like, whether it's weekly. So for example, on my YouTube, I'm doing a weekly business, something related to private practice and business, and or I'm doing emotional health so that I have a blend of my audience within my materials. And so knowing that you are going to be consistent weekly can help your audience to know when you're showing up, when they can get their tips, when they can get the information that benefits them, to be able to grow and to heal, or to, depending on what you're doing, support their growth. Remember, as you publish this content, share it across your website, your social media platforms. I know this seems simple, but sometimes we forget that our audiences might be showing up in different places. But even if it's just 2 constant social media platforms and or 2 consistent a blog and 1 consistent Instagram or Facebook, whatever the social media platform you decide to use, make sure it goes across those that you're using so that people can see and know what you're doing. Over time, it really does bring out what can be considered a credible resource and or a credible source or expertise in the area that you're starting to brand yourself as. So when we think about content, that's really all I have to say. Be creative and create the blogs, the videos, the posts. Make sure that you are authentic, be true to your ideal client, and consistency is key. The next thing you need to think about when it comes to marketing for your practice specifically is networking with other professionals. It doesn't pay you to be an island when it comes to being able to create and acknowledge that you know that you have available space in your practice, or you're trying to grow your practice, when you don't have a community that can also start to be strong referrals or networks for you to have sources for clients. So start with other therapists. If you're a therapist, start with other therapists that you can connect with, especially those who specialize and or can open up, you can use as referral opportunities. For example, if I specialize in trauma therapy, you could then focus on someone who specializes, or focus on getting connections with those who focus on couples therapy or family therapy. Whether you like it or not, you may not be able to service the entire community that falls under your ideal client. So you still want to be able to have strong referrals. And the best way to do that is to know your network in your areas so that you can not only give specialized referrals, but you can also have relationships where people will do the same in regards to what they know you become an expert with. Other thing that I did, especially at the beginning of my practice, was reach out to the local doctors, teachers, and community leaders that are in your area. Many times people forget this basic 101 form of networking and professional connections, because now we've moved to such a fast-paced social media world. This form of networking and connection allows for you to be visible in your direct community. So I would say seek out your doctors that have the same insurance panels as you. Seek out the doctors that might have specialty areas. So for example, if you are a therapist who specializes in fertility, making sure that you have relationship with doctors who are in fertility, making sure that you have relationships with nurses or doctors, but also other attached services that may come along with having fertility issues that you're struggling with. What this does is it creates the opportunity for you to now become an expert in their eye, in your area. So for example, like I said, if you're the trauma therapist, then they know, or the depression person who works with depression and anxiety, then they know, let's see if she's able to have clients or taking clients at this time. And then the last thing I would say when it comes to networking with other professionals is get involved with some local events, workshops, health fairs, things that can connect you with the community so that people start to see you as visible and connected to what is going on in the area of your service. So if there's mental health conferences, if there's health fairs, if there's workshops, even if there's some paid and or free ones, you want to start doing those things so that you can get fully attached to and connected to what you will need related to referrals and consistent referrals as you grow your practice. So finally, for those who are looking to create even broader reach, always consider thinking about strategies on social media as well. When we think about that, I say consider offering workshops or free webinars. This doesn't mean that you have to do it often or every week or every month, but consider trying to have a strategy that offers workshops or free webinars that can show your area or your larger audience and position you as an expert in your field. Many times people are like, well, I want to get speaking engagements. I want to do this or I want to do that, when they don't realize that you have to first make some choices around consistently showing up as the expert. And sometimes we may not get opportunities outside of ourselves. So creating that opportunities for ourselves allow people to know what you're good at. So choose topics that resonate with your ideal client, with those who are connected to your ideal client. So for example, you could offer a workshop on managing stress, overcoming imposter syndrome, or understanding healthy boundaries in relationships. There are so many topics that people will eagerly come to check out if you do the actual laid work around marketing it to them. Engage with your audience during the workshops or the webinars. Create opportunities for participants to really ask questions, sharing the experience with you, and to really resonate and connect with you in a way that allows them to feel like they can get insight from you, but they want to come back for more. And then include a call of action. It never pays. If it's a free webinar, even if it's a 15-minute free consultation or a first call or something that might allow for you to transition them into an actual potential client, make sure to close out that workshop or that webinar with a call of action that allows for them to get further access to you, because if not for themselves, they may be able to refer other people to you. So when we think about these three things around our marketing, I want us to think about content marketing, networking, and networking with other professionals, and offering workshops or free webinars. When we share content that resonates with our audience, it allows our potential clients to see us as credible and to be attracted to us to get services. When we network with other professionals, it builds relationship with other therapists, doctors, and also many others in the community that can help you to become a strong referral network. And then lastly, offering workshops can allow you to not only host events that are relevant to mental health topics, but start to develop your credentials and your area of expertise that grows you to be considered the professional. What it allows you to do is for you to not only be seen, but known as a professional in your field. All right. Take good care of yourselves, and I will see you next Wednesday. Be well. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who is trying to grow or create a thriving practice. All right. Y'all be well.